What's going on, everybody? Tonight we're out in the garage. I am going to be tearing down and rebuilding my blow-through carburetor. This is a C&S Specialties 750 billet aerosol carburetor. What do I mean by billet aerosol? If you take the hat off, you just have 4 little tubes down there with these billet inserts into the carburetor. This is rated at 750 CFM. I'm sure it flows a lot more than 750 CFM with nothing obstructing the flow. A lot of things that make this carburetor different and a lot of misconceptions of blow-through carburetors. First misconception is they do not work. I'm here to tell you, yes, they do work. This here is a pump gas carburetor. I could run pump gas or race fuel, 110, C16, any of that stuff. And it works great. I've ran pump gas through it. I've been 940 on 91 octane with this carburetor, and it held perfect air-fuel ratios the entire pass, and that includes part throttle and everything like that. I drive this carburetor on the street. It works good cruising. Air fuel's usually around 11.7 to 12.2, depending on the air quality outside. Another thing that helps this carburetor a lot is this hat. I welded a 1-inch spacer to the bottom. Actually, I had Sam weld a 1-inch spacer to the bottom because I did not TIG weld then. And it has an O-ring seal. And adding that 1-inch spacer lets it direct the air more straight down. It lets the air come around and straightens the air out. In turn, gives better signals to the float bowls and makes it just a lot better in general for everything. The next misconception of blow-through carburetors is you have to have extremely large jets in them and they run way too rich and blah blah blah. I'm here to tell you that's really not the case with a pump gas setup. Maybe if you have like an alcohol setup, you might have to run way too big of jets. But from what I've seen all over, usually that don't start happening until you're up in the 1600 horsepower range. Of course, I'm not there. I'll be right around 1,000 horsepower range, maybe a little more this time around. This carburetor has 76 jets in the rear, 76 jets in the front. It is squared. And what allows this carburetor to have such small jets is it has these neat little guys. You see there's no spring in that power valve back there. This is the boost reference power valve. I just bought these from C&S Specialties because it's time to change them. They've been in there for 2 years. I got some bad fuel at the end of last year. It made them really stiff to push, so it changed the way they boost reference. It changed, they came in later, so it had a lean spot. Going from rolling acceleration, it had a little bit of a lean spot because these weren't opening as fast. So got new ones of those. Also have all the rest of the stuff to build it. I got new accelerator pumps, we got gaskets for everything, jets. All the carburetor rebuild stuff is there. Another thing that makes this so street friendly and be able to do that is what controls those boost reference power valves. This little tiny hole here. That hole is an air hole to go to the power valves. This is what opens and closes the power valves. And a cool tuning tool is if this carburetor is straight at you, your hat sits about right here, right above that hole. You can rotate this stud. It has a little arrow on the top of it. I don't know if you can see that. This stupid thing will focus. It has an arrow right there facing the direction of that hole. You could turn this stud either direction, in or out of the airflow. You could even turn it completely around to where it gets the air coming around the back, and it will lessen or greaten the signal to the boost reference power valves. This goes down here. This hole's drilled all the way through, and it goes down, and I will take it apart and show you how that works. I can get it apart here. Hold on 1 second. A little sticky. Does not want to come apart, of course. Well, if I can get this thing apart. Huh. Well, I've never had it stick together that bad. These non-stick gaskets usually do a good job of not sticking. But I guess it just decided to stick together. Find another miniature screwdriver. Go on both sides at once. There she is. Just real gently. Don't want to tear anything up. Okay. Now, looks like a regular power valve from there. Also on this carburetor, all of these passages are blocked. These passages are drilled out bigger. They drill the vertical passages out bigger too. And then a neat thing, let me set you guys down again. Sorry if the filming is crappy. If I had someone here to help me, it'd be a little better. But we will unscrew this power valve. And I will show you some other neat features. See, there's no spring on the back of that power valve. And see, it's cut. That one's really stiff to push. And in here, if you look in there, there's a little pocket. They build this pocket off the back so it just don't have the power valve hanging out anymore. They build that to hold the spring in. And if you look, there's this little tiny spring in there. Now you could take, and just like this is a tuning tool. See where that hole comes out right there? That's where the boost is entered into that passage to the other side of the power valve to make it open. So you could take and shim this, or put a little bit heavier spring in it, but shim this spring off the back of the power valve. That's how it all sits in there. You could shim it to make it open later also. So you could shim that to make it open at 8 pounds or 10 pounds or 4 pounds or whatever you want to do. And then also another tuning ability you have. You see down in here? There's jets down in there now. That is all drilled out and it has jets in the power valve passages. It has 4 jets. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. In this case, I think it has 51s on the top and 42s on the bottom. And that's how you can adjust it. And it came with a bunch of jets. I think it came with 4 or 5 different sizes of jets. And then it even came with plugs, so you could plug one hole and have the other hole open if it's like way too rich. So that's all the adjustability on this carburetor is just phenomenal, how much you could actually adjust this carburetor. And once again, this is a C&S Specialties blow-through billet aerosol carburetor. Now the cost of this carburetor is, I sent them my carburetor and they charged me $950 to go through it and turn it into a blow-through carburetor. So this was originally a 750 Brawler double pumper. It had the race series main body on it, so it was all open, no choke horn. But they take and change it to one of their main bodies so they can cut it up. I think they have to change it to a smaller main body to bore it out the right size to put these tubes in there. But that's the basics on the blow-through stuff, and it does have a boost reference power valve front and rear. So that's how you can get away running such a small jet on this thing, is because it adds fuel front and rear through the power valves through this boost signal right here. And if you look at it, I have it turned. If you look straight at the carburetor, it's turned a little bit off the passage because my hat goes on it just like so, straight. So I have it turned a little bit out of the boost passage. And if you look in, if you could see in there, see how far down them vent tubes are in there? And both sides are really far down. And if you look straight in the hat, you barely see them. That's what I mean about the putting that spacer in there. And if you look up there, you see that hole. It's just right under the hat. You want it as close to the top of the hat as you can get it. I put it down a little bit because the stud was just long enough to get enough threads in there. But if you weld this spacer onto your hat, it directs the air better, because air is lazy. So the air is going to come in here and just try to go straight. It ain't going to try to turn. So if you extend your hat up, then you'll have the air going in there and turning better and going straight. The straighter the air into the carburetor you can get it, the better off you are. Because everything works better. You get better pressurization to the fuel bowls, and it just works way better. But that's it on the blow-through carburetor. I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope there wasn't too little information or too much information. If you have any questions on it, feel free to comment. I'll answer all the questions to the best of my knowledge. Like I said, this blow-through carburetor works perfect. It was on my truck for 2 seasons already, and as far as I know, it's going to be on my truck forever because it makes plenty of horsepower. It works good. It drives really nice, and I don't see any reason to change it. So you guys like, subscribe, share this video, hit the like, hit the bell, and let's get up to 300 subscribers. Let's try to do that by the end of next month. You guys have a good night.